everyone in the household, the Lord, in the name of Jesus we pray. Amen. Coming from here. Yes. No critic. So today we're going to be coming out the book of Judges. And my title today is God Can Use Weakness as a Source of Strength. And I'm going to start reading from Judges 3 verses 12 through 30. And today we will be talking about Ehud, or Ehud, however you prefer it, but I'm going to say Ehud. Again, the Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord. And because they did this evil, the Lord gave Eglon, king of Moab, power over Israel, getting the Ammonites and the Amalekites to join him. Eglon came and attacked Israel, and they took possession of the city of palms. The Israelites were subject to Eglon, king of Moab, for 80 years. Not 80 years, 18 years. 18 years. Look, that's when they're going to be free. Again, the Israelites cried out to the Lord, and he gave them a deliverer, Ehud, a left-handed man, the son of Gur, the Benjamite. The Israelites sent him with tribute to Eglon, king of Moab. Now, Ehud had made a double-edged sword about a cubit long, which he strapped to his right thigh under his clothing. He presented the tribute to Eglon, king of Moab, who was a very fat man. After Ehud had presented the tribute, he sent on their way those who had carried it. And I'm just going to stop right there. So the Israelites once again was captured. Once again was up under slavery and harsh work and labor. And just because of that, and I want to point out the reason why they was captured once again, they say the Lord said they did evil in his eyes. And pretty much we know where that goes to. They started worshiping other gods. They started doing other practices with the people they really supposed to have drove out of the land the first time. See, when God tells you to do something specific and you don't do it, and then you have to learn from it later on down the road, and there's consequences behind it. So he caused them to go into labor once more time for 18 years under a guy that's, you're going to pay taxes every year with this man. So with their tribute, they're going to go take all their possessions, all the stuff they probably don't form, all the little nice little gold, little silver, anything that's going to make this king happy. It's like you're paying taxes to this man. He's the government right now. And you're going to go pay everything that you worked hard for all that year, all the past 6 to 12 months to him. So what did Israel do? They cried out. We don't know how specifically they cried. We don't know if they got down on their knees and prayed. We don't know if they said, oh, Lord, he's ripping a hole in us. We need your help. So he heard them. And what I want to say, God always hears our cries. But are they sincere? And when they are, he know they sincere. And that's when he had to raise up not his right hand, but he said, Ehud, a left-handed man, the son of Gur, the Benjamite. That sticks out. Because we are in a world that is so populated and so known for being right-handed, left-handed is considered a weakness or is less non-useful. So now Ehud made a double-edged sword about a cubit long, which he strapped under his right thigh, under his clothing. He presented the tribute to King Eglon, who was a very fat man. After Ehud had presented the tribute, he sent on their way those who carried it. He was like, okay, let me do what I need to do now. Let me let my people go because it's about to go down. But on reaching the stone images near Gilgal, he himself went back to Eglon and said, Your Majesty, I have a secret message for you. Don't that sound sweet? The king said to his attendants, leave us. And they all left. He's like, I want to hear this. I don't want a secret message. I don't want nobody else to hear this but me. I want to hear this. What you got for me? After you done got all their possessions. And you just greedy, want more to yourself. Ehud then approached him while he was sitting alone in the upper room of his palace and said, I have a message from God for you. As the king rose from his seat, Ehud reached with his left hand, drew the sword from his right thigh, and plunged it into the king's belly. Even the handle sank in after the blade, and his bowels discharged. That is embarrassing. I feel sorry for this cleanup crew. Ehud did not pull the sword out, and the fat closed in over it. Then Ehud went out to the porch. He shut the doors of the upper room behind him and locked them. After he had gone, the servants came and found the doors of the upper room locked. They said he must be relieving himself in the inner room of the palace. I want to make them think that. Maybe the smell was in the air by then because he had a bowel movement. If everybody knows what that means, that was a pretty sight. They waited to the point of embarrassment. But when he did not open the doors of the room, they took a key and unlocked them. There they saw their Lord falling to the floor dead. While they waited, Ehud got away. He passed by the stone images and escaped to Syria. When he arrived there, he blew a trumpet in the hill country of Ephraim. And the Israelites went down with him from the hills, with him leading them. Follow me, he ordered, for the Lord has given Moab, your enemy, into your hands. So they followed him down and took possession of the fords of the Jordan that led to Moab. They allowed no one to cross over. At that time, they struck down about 10,000 Moabites, all vigorous and strong. Not one escaped. That day Moab was subject to Israel, and the land had peace, once I quoted earlier today, for 80 years. And with this, you get out of God can use anybody. Pretty much what we were just saying earlier today. God can use anyone to accomplish his works. And I had some key notes that I had wrote down from the Lord that he allowed me to write. It says, God always hears our cries. The first one I said, but are they sincere? When they are, he most definitely answers to his children. Ehud, being a left-handed warrior, might be viewed as less needed or not needed, but he was just what God needed. God has no limits on who he uses. So we got to quit trying to limit who he can use, or talking about, oh, I'm better than you, or we're a house full of loud-spokenness. We don't need nobody that's soft-spoken. That's considered weakness. We strong. No, he might need somebody to come over there and be soft-spoken, because all that loudness can be going out somebody's ear. He might need somebody who's going to actually be sincere, actually show sympathy, actually compassion, like they caring. Because when you listen to somebody who's yelling at you, some of us can get it like, oh man, I needed that tough love. But some people he's saying to be soft spoken to you because he know y'all gonna do this after that. Because you're yelling at me. What you yelling at me for? Instead of, hey, you know, that wasn't right what you did. You know, God didn't like that. Because want to know why he's telling me now, but I see already ahead of time in the future. You're going to be okay. You know, don't let that get you to the, why did you do that? Because you know we don't. And heard you coming from a family that all they do is bigger, 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 bigger. Sometimes you're going to need a little person that's just a little more soft-spoken.
Yes. Can I say something? So, on a personal level, my sister-in-law, my brother's wife, she's like that. So she has a lot of sisters. I have a lot of sisters. So just imagine that, you know, she's 30, I'm 25. So when we talk, sometimes it gets a little tense.
Full of females.
A lot of tense. It gets really tense. But not too long ago, when I finished Nexus, when I was trying to get Ruben back, that's another person that I'm really thankful for, because for a long time, whenever I would be at Nexus, some things either she would say or the way her body language would be, it would trigger me. So I would talk about her. And then now, you know, obviously a year passed and a lot of things has happened. I'm thinking better, I'm doing better. So she had said not too long ago when I first wanted to get Ruben, she was all like that she prayed a lot. Like after everything that has happened, she's like, it changed me a lot, and I even got closer to God. She said her relationship with God changed. That she would cry and she would ask God, like, give me the correct words to talk to Monica, you know? So I'm grateful for her too, you know what I mean? Like, I see I feel like obviously God, she's really religious as well. My brothers are really religious as well. They go to church too a lot. So, everything that she tells me soft spoken now. You know what I mean? Like at first it was hard and it was aggressive. She couldn't stay still. And now when she talks to me, like we're calmer. We're calmer, and I can talk to her and I tell her things, and I have been able to open up more with her. So our relationship has grown.
Right now you don't need a lot of fussing and hollering at you. That's a lot. Yeah. God knows who to bring.
Yes, exactly. Slowly, you know what I mean? Little by little, you know? I'm telling you, she was angry, really angry at first. And I was too. And we didn't talk. But then me trying to get my son back and her being the mother figure that she is to my son, you know, I had to calm down a little bit and respect her more, you know what I mean? Not cross that line either. Yeah. So, yes, go ahead. Thank you. I really, this message is really coming to me too.
That show you maturity in you too, though. Yes. Because sometimes you gotta be, like we saying, gotta be quiet. Because every time somebody getting on you, it's not meant to hurt you, whether they being loud with it or low with it. Some people, you gotta hear the different angles. And right now, yelling at you is not what you need. Right. Somebody who's gonna talk to you. Yes. Yell, they're probably enough. Yes. You know.
Thank you.
And it says, just cause you can't just cause you can't use your legs or your arms, doesn't mean you can't be the source that Lord needs for a breakthrough. Mm-hmm. You might can't walk, but you can change tires for a living. Mm-hmm. You might not got no legs, but you can roll under there and fix that car real fast. Yes. You might can't use your arms, what we were just speaking on this morning, because people prefer to use their feet even though they got hands still. You know, you might can't use your arms or don't have any, born without, but you have the mindset of an architect. You can tell people how to build, but you can't go over there and build it yourself. But you got the mindset and how to sit. You might can doodle with your mouth. You got people that can write with their mouth, but they can't tell you you ain't worth it. They can't tell you God can't use you just because you ain't got no arms and no legs. Come on now. They can't tell you ain't a good mother just because, you know, no. To be looked at as different, Ehud led a whole army at the end to accomplish God's work. He didn't stop with just the king. He said, okay, let's go and drive them all out there. Let's go and take them. Because some people stop there. I got the big guy out the way. The rest of them know what to do. Skedaddle. No, he said, we're going to take them all out and nobody escape. So you got to finish. You got to continue. You got to be a breakthrough for others. Just because you left-handed, and it's crazy because my daughter left-handed, and I was looking at the things, I'm like, I gotta start ordering her some little left-handed scissors or something, because she always complaining about her right hand, but she's so talented, she can do things that I can't even do. She can draw. She very creative with what she want to build and stuff like that. So I'm like, you good with that left hand, you can color, you know. You cannot limit nobody just because you come from somewhere where you used to. You can't limit nobody's situations. That's why we gotta stop trying to put a limit on everybody just because they disabled, just because they mentally challenged. You got people that's mentally challenged and know a little more and got a little more sense than people that's in their right mind. They can actually put some stuff together. They can actually go in there and organize some things. You be like, wait a minute, I didn't know you know how to do that. You thinking out the box, something I didn't think of. We put limits on people, and that's not the thing right there. Right there, people was limited on the left hand because they so used to God having that right hand, but he got two hands. He ain't got just one hand. Why we limit people when they got two hands? So with that being said, God can use anything that's a source of a weakness in your eyes, but in his eyes, that might be the barrier that he needs to be breaking through. You know, being soft-spoken. Maybe you got one arm. Maybe you don't have no kids, and you can be a person that can be a good spokesman for someone who's trying to have kids, or someone who don't have any kids themselves. You know, like letting us gonna be okay. You don't let nobody tell you can't be a good mentor for children. You don't let nobody tell you can't do schoolwork or teacher for a child just because you don't have any. You can't tell nobody that. You can't tell nobody they're not gonna be good at this job just because you got the high promotion and your family got the family legacy. They might seduce and pass you up in there. Just because they don't have the education, or like Pastor said, they might be from South Dallas. What? You want to say just because they can't go out there and get a good job, or you can't see them at the bank being a banker?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, they can. So at the end of the week, I want to say we just cannot limit ourselves either, because we all have a weakness that we're not very, like, what I'm going to say, passionate of or confident in it. You know, it could be anything, but when we see others bringing it out, we just got to be a blessing to others. We can't limit nobody's situations. Just because they homeless don't mean they can't be a rich man tomorrow. You know? And when you do, please don't forget about me. I do this I'll be remembering, but you know, if I tell family members, when you get rich, don't forget about me, you know? I don't want it now. But at the end of the day, and then if you want to dig more into left-handed people, I wrote down from Judges 20:16, the 700 left-handed warriors that come from the Benjamite tribe as well. If you want to read into that, they show you just as much as more left-handed people in the Bible than we think. You know, that God used to accomplish his work, that God used to do war, to do anything that he wants to be fulfilled. So with that being said, we cannot limit each other. Let's not talk about each other. Let's not say what a person is not capable of doing, because God can show you otherwise. Evidently, a right-handed person wouldn't have got through. No right-handed person couldn't have got in there, because they checking for the left side for a right-hand puller. But just because that secret right there that you hold in, and like Pastor City was saying too, sometimes we be having these talents, these hidden talents that we don't even talk about. You can sing and nobody know that you're not using your full spiritual gift. Pretty much on quoting what Pastor Cindy said Tuesday night. So with that being said, with him being a left-handed warrior now, because once he did, you are a warrior. Being a left-handed warrior, if the whole little tribe knew that, they would have been like, oh yeah, we watching out for him, we watching out for him. Oh yeah, he that left-handed one, he gonna come in, but God used it as a disadvantage to others. He threw him off. They sent somebody in there you would never have expected that. Then he came and he already came and paid a little tribute. They're like, oh, you know, he come and pay his taxes with his folks and stuff. We don't expect him to do nothing when he come back. You know, he ain't flashing, yeah, I'm a left-handed. But I think that main thing is God can use weakness as a strength, as a source of strength. And he might not have been weak, but in the world-wise, left-handed wasn't really as much needed. But it was in God's eyes. And he sat there and took down a whole little tribe, a whole little army. And at the end of the day, God can use anybody. And don't forget that.
Amen.